Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy.
And Anna Kujawa.
And we're back again doing Hardcore Course.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dun. And so, can you take it? And remember, you don't have to believe it, accept it, or welcome it.
Can you take it without believing it?
Can you take it without believing it? Welcoming it, or accepting it. Just use it, and you will see that it's true. And we're going to cover a section called self-concept versus self.
It's a nice, light, easy section in the course.
From A Course in Miracles. And we're using the Foundation for Inner Peace version of it, self-concept versus self. And that's in chapter 31, I think. It's hard to tell with these Kindles. So it's 30 or 31. Yeah. That's the most I can give you on it. Okay, self-concept versus self. I'm going to read it, and then Anna's going to tell me what she heard in the paragraph, and then she's going to read it, and I'm going to tell her what I heard in the paragraph, because our goal is to remember what the Course is saying, hear it.
And apply it.
More than analyze it. We're not into analyzing the Course. Yes. We want to use it. We want to hear it. The learning of the world is built around the concept of the self adjusted to the world's reality. The learning of the world is built upon a concept of the self adjusted to the world's reality.
Yes. Okay.
It fits it well, for this an image is that suits a world of shadows and illusions. Here this image, this self-concept, walks at home, where what it sees is one with it. So basically, the building of a concept of the self is what the learning of the world is for. The building of a concept of the self is what the learning of the world is for. That is the purpose of the learning of the world, to build a concept of the self. This is its purpose, that you come without a self.
That's right.
And you make one up.
Okay.
As you go along.
Okay.
And by the time you reach so-called maturity, you have perfected this concept of the self to meet the world on equal terms, at one with the world's demands.
Okay, great. All right, so what I heard in there is that all that the world wants to teach you, all that you go to learn in school and all that you learn in the world is a self-concept, a belief about yourself that fits this world. That's what all the learning of the world is for. So when you go to school in this world or go to any training in this world, that's what it's for. And so basically the learning of the world is this, that you are born here with no self, okay? And that you build up a self that fits the world, this world that you're born into, which means that you build a self-concept that accepts that world as real, fits it perfectly, and is where that self is at home. And that basically that when you have perfected this self, when you've learned what the world is trying to teach you, that you will have a self-concept that meets the world's demands.
And another word for self-concept would be the ego.
Yeah, that you build an ego.
That you build an ego.
That's right. And so everything the world would have you learn and would teach you is that you don't have a self of your own. You have no original self. You were born blank. And that you develop a self that fits this world as it is, which is a fearful, lacking, guilty, limited body place. And that you build a self that fits the world perfectly. And that's what the world would like to teach all of us. And has, P.S., that is what we have learned through our worldly classrooms.
And I love how he says that it's the perfect self-concept when you're meeting the world on equal terms.
That's exactly right.
You definitely look at it the way the world is teaching it.
Exactly.
And you deal with it the way the world deals with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And meeting developing a self, an ego that's mature, which means it can meet the world on its equal demands, on its terms, means that self-concept can meet the world's demands.
That's right.
That's
right.
And the world's demands are be afraid, make sure you plan for your safety and happiness yourself, and lack is real, and you're a body,
and you're a victim.
And you're a victim.
That's right. The world wants you to always believe that you are the victim of something that's being done to you.
And that's the world's demands.
Right.
And it just wants you to have a belief about yourself that says yes to those demands, that meets those demands. Wow. All right. Okay. That's what I heard in that paragraph.
All right. You read this
that's
one,
right.
The next one too.
Okay. A concept of the self is made by you. A concept of the self bears no likeness to yourself at all. A concept of yourself is an idol. It's an idol made to take the place of your reality as a soul of God. The concept of the self that the world would teach is not the thing that it appears to be. Because that concept that the world would teach you of yourself, that self-concept is made to serve two purposes, but only one of which purpose your mind recognizes. The first purpose of the self-concept and the mask presents the face of innocence, which is the aspect of the self that is acted on. The face of innocence is the face that smiles and charms and even seems to love, maybe sometimes seems to be enlightened. And this face of innocence, this mask, searches for companions, and it looks at times with pity on the suffering, and sometimes offers solace. This face of innocence believes that it is good within an evil world.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay, I heard the Course in Miracles say that my concept of myself is made by me, but the concept of myself that I have doesn't really bear any likeness to the real me I am at all.
Okay.
Then I heard the Course say that a concept of the self is really an idol. That concept and idol are the same thing. So a concept of myself, I heard it say that it's an idol. And an idol is just any concept that I make up that takes the place of who I really am as a child of God, as love. Now, then I heard the Course tell me about the concept of myself that the world would teach me is not the thing that it looks like.
Nope.
In other words, the concept of myself that the world is trying to teach me to accept serves two purposes, but I only recognize one of the purposes. And the first purpose that the world's concepts want to teach me is called the face of innocence. So the world is trying to teach me that I have a face of innocence, and this concept of myself is a concept that smiles and it charms and it even seems to love. I have this personality that smiles and charms and even seems to love. And the world teaches me that there's a concept that I should have of myself that searches for companions, that I should have an idea of myself or a personality that I make up that looks with pity on things sometimes and looks with pity on the suffering sometimes, and that I have a concept of myself that's been made up by the world that also sometimes offers solace. Sometimes, so I really feel compassion for what you're going through.
Right.
And so there's basically an idea of myself and a personality and a concept and an idol that the world is teaching me that basically says I'm this really good person within a very evil, bad world.
In other words, you're an innocent victim
within this really bad world.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I heard.
The innocent victim in an evil world.
I'm an innocent victim in an evil world.
That's the first part or the first layer of the self-concept that the world is trying to teach us.
That's right.
This is who you are.
That's right. There are two purposes of what the world is trying to teach me that I am. That I'm innocent within an evil world is the first one.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay. What's the next one?
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Now, the part of you that thinks it's good within an evil world, this aspect can grow angry. For the world is wicked and unable to provide the love and shelter that innocence deserves.
Wow.
And so this face of innocence that we make up is often wet with tears at the injustices the world accords to those who would be good. This aspect, the innocent aspect of yourself that's made up by the world, the face of innocence, never makes the first attack, but every day 100 little things make small assaults upon its innocence, provoking it to irritation, and at last to open insult and abuse.
Of course. Okay, wonderful. All right, so now it's going to talk about the first part of the self-concept that the world is trying to teach us that we are, and that is the face of innocence. And the face of innocence is the aspect of yourself that can grow very angry about how wicked the world is. I can't believe how wicked the world is, so evil.
Oh, ISIS.
Yes. Okay.
Al-Qaeda.
And it grows angry. I can't believe how insane this world is. And angry with the world. The face of innocence is often angry with the world because the world is so insane and it just can't provide the shelter and the safety that a good person like me deserves.
That's right.
All right. And that's why this aspect of our self-concept, this aspect of our ego, is often wet with tears at the injustices the world would accord to those who would be generous and good. In other words, the part of my ego mask that is a victim. It's good in an evil world, and it's always upset, crying, or angry about how evil the world is to people who are innocent. Okay? And then this aspect of the ego, remember, this is an aspect of the ego. This is a mask the ego wears. And this face of innocence, this victim aspect of ourself, this innocent victim, never attacks. I didn't attack the world. I'm nice. I'm always nice to people. I don't attack first. But every day, 100 things attack me every day. And so I had to respond with insult and abuse. You know, because if you are only innocent and good in the world, then the world takes advantage of you.
That's right.
You know,
That's
the world
right.
takes advantage.
You're such
of,
a good person, Anna.
I am.
It's such a horrible world. You just, your face is often wet with the tears.
I never make the first attack.
Never.
Ever.
You're nice all the time.
I am.
I know.
I
I've
am.
never
But
seen
I'm
you attack
saying-
anybody
and
first.
I had to attack back
That's
because
right.
you know how the world deals with defenseless innocence.
That's right.
In
That's
this
right.
world,
You're attacking self-defense
this
now.
world is so horrible.
That's right.
If you don't attack, then they'll take advantage of you.
So this is one of the purposes of your self-concept that the world is teaching you.
Yes.
It's for you to see yourself as this
Yes.
innocent victim.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
You know, in other words, when you listen to this aspect speak, all you hear is what's done to it.
Right.
You always hear, "I'm so good. I've given only love, but this is what they do to me. This is what has been done to me. This is what's being done to me." You never hear this aspect of the ego acknowledge that it has attacked thoughts or it has attacked at all. It's always, "I am a good person. I only love, and yet I'm being attacked all the time." And that I have to defend myself occasionally. That's what you hear it saying. You never hear it say, "Wow, I was having some attack thoughts today. Gee, no surprise I received some attack from the world." You never hear it say that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right, so
It's you.
now I'm going to read to you.
You need to read.
So the face of innocence. We're still on the face of innocence. The face of innocence that the concept of the self or the ego so proudly wears can tolerate attack in self-defense. For is it not a well-known fact that the world deals harshly with defenseless innocence? No one who makes an ego for himself, no one who makes a picture of himself, omits this face of innocence, the innocent victim face. Because anyone who makes an ego for themselves is going to need the face of innocence.
Yeah, that's right.
The other side of the face of innocence you don't want to see. Yeah, it's the other side of the face of innocence that the learning of the world has set its sights, because it's on the other side of the face of innocence that the world's reality, so-called reality, is set to see to it that the ego idol lasts.
Whew.
All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've heard the Course in Miracles tell me that my innocent face.
My innocent face. You heard of your game face?
Yeah, this is my innocent face. Okay, and my innocent face feels perfectly justified to attack in self-defense.
Yes.
Because the world deals harshly with you when you're trying to be nice and innocent. So you're a nice person, but it's okay for you to attack in self-defense.
Right.
Then I heard the Course say that everyone makes a face of themselves where they see themselves as innocent and justified to attack back if they're attacked.
Yes.
Then I heard the Course tell me that there's another side of my idea about myself that I don't want to see.
Yes.
And so the part of me that I don't want to see, the concept that I don't want to see, that's where the learning of the world has set its sights. And it's here that the world's reality is set to see that this self-concept lasts. So the world is even working even more on an idea of myself that I'm not aware of, that I have.
Mm-hmm.
That the world is really giving me concepts of myself that I don't even want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving me ideas about myself that I don't even want to admit to.
Right.
Okay.
I'm trying to hide.
And want to and I want to hide.
Right.
I got a concept of myself that I'm innocent.
That's right.
But I also got a concept of myself that I don't want to see.
Exactly.
That the world is also reinforcing to meet on its terms.
That's right.
Okay.
So the only face that I am willing to look at myself and show to the world is the defenseless, innocent victim that
can attack in self-defense.
That can attack in self-defense because the world takes advantage of
That's
it.
right.
It is always 100 times a day making attacks on
That's
it.
right.
That's the only face I'm willing to show the world or look at myself.
That's right. Okay.
But there's something else there.
And here we go. He says,
All right.
beneath the face of innocence, there's a lesson.
Okay.
That lesson, there's a lesson that the concept of the self was made to teach. Now, it's a lesson in terrible displacement. It's a lesson in a fear so devastating that the face that smiles above it must forever look away.
Forever look away.
Lest it perceive the treachery that this face hides. The lesson teaches this. This is the lesson that the world is teaching. I'm the thing you made of me. As you look at me, you stand condemned because of what I am.
Great.
On this conception of the self, the world smiles with approval that I'm what someone else is doing to me.
Right.
And when you look at me, you ought to feel condemned because of what I am.
Okay, great.
And the world smiles with approval on this concept of the self because this concept of the self guarantees the pathways of the world are safely
That's
kept.
right.
And those who walk on the pathways of the world will not escape.
No. All right. Okay.
5.
Okay. So, all right. So we've got the face of innocence. I'm the innocent victim. Everybody's always attacking me, but I never start anything. But occasionally I'm justified in attacking, defending myself. Okay. But underneath that, what I don't really want to see is a whole nother self-concept that the world is, the teaching of the world is really going for. It's really setting its sights on. And that is that I basically be the aggressor. I'm what you made of me. Look at me. Look at what you did to me.
Look at what you did to me.
Look at what you did to me. Right? So on the surface, the first mask is I'm a helpless victim, I'm only good. Underneath that is a more aggressive self-concept that is literally attacking people. And it attacks other people by going, I'm what you made of me. Look at me and be condemned. Look at me and feel guilty. And it's this aspect of the ego that is the one in shadow. It's like the shadow self or the shadow side. That's the self-concept that the world's really promoting. Because if you have that self-concept of yourself as the aggressor, then it makes sure that the pathways of the world are secure, meaning you ain't going to leave them. You're not going to leave the pathways of the world. When you have this self-concept of yourself, you've got the deeper, darker core, and then you've got the happy, innocent mask over it. And if you'll keep that self-concept, then the ego is secure, the world is secure, because you will only walk the roads of the world. And you won't get off of them.
So the two concepts are basically, I'm a victim, and I'm innocent, and I don't attack unless I have to.
Right.
And the other one is, it's your fault. You're doing it all to me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so one looks like it's passive, but the one the mask is I'm so passive, and then the one that's underneath the mask is pointing an accusing finger. It's your fault. You did this to me, and you should feel condemned as you look upon me. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. So
I definitely have that concept of myself. There's a part of me that has it, again, I love thinking of the self-concept as the ego.
It's perfect because that right here is the anatomy of the ego.
Right.
You've got the outer layer of the ego.
Right.
And then you've got the inner core of the ego.
Right.
And there they are.
You know, I'm innocent.
Right.
And what I'm going through is your fault. I'm innocent, and what I'm going through is your fault.
Right.
I'm innocent, really nice.
Right.
And I wouldn't be going off on you right now except in self-defense. Right. Because you know how you do nice people. And what I'm going through right now, you're causing it. You made me be this way.
Yes.
Okay.
And I see us in our special relationships go literally cycle through those two things very rapidly. Like when you're in a special relationship and there's a lot of conflict, oftentimes you'll experience yourself or somebody else. First, they're playing the victim.
Right. Look
what you're doing to me, and blah, 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 you know, I would only be good. And then when that doesn't work, then they shift to the more aggressive aspect of the ego. And then when that doesn't work, then they shift back to the helpless victim aspect of their ego, shifting back and forth to get what they want.
Right.
Because that's all the ego's about.
Getting what it wants.
It's
script.
And the ego only has two methods. One is to use the face of innocence to deceive, and if that doesn't work, then to just go for the more direct attack. Okay.
Okay. So you read this one, the next one. Let's see here. All right. Here we go. Number 6.
Okay. All right. So here is the central lesson that ensures your brother is condemned eternally. For what you are has now become their sin. For this, what you are to become their sin, for that, no forgiveness can be possible. No longer does it matter what they do, because your accusing finger points to them, unwavering and deadly in its aim. And your ego's fingers point to you too, but the fact that your fingers are also pointing back at you is kept still deeper in the mist below the face of innocence. Okay, the attack is still kept below the face of innocence. And in these shrouded vaults are all their sins and yours preserved, which means kept in darkness. That means where they cannot be perceived as errors, which the light would surely show. You can be neither blamed for what you are, nor can you change the things it makes you do. And that's why your brother then is the symbol of your sins to you. You who are but silently and yet with ceaseless urgency condemning still them for the hated thing you are.
Phew.
Right. Was that light course?
All
just
right.
A little bit of light, sunny spring course.
Okay, so like springtime course. Well, this is spring cleaning of a different sort.
This is spring cleaning for sure of your own ego.
Yeah, it's spring ego cleaning.
Yeah, and this is spring cleaning because it's making sure that you can't deceive your own self. You know, your ego is trying to deceive you. Our ego is trying to deceive us. But this is our saying, no, we're not. This is what enables us to not be deceived by our ego. Is to hear about it.
Well, what I've heard is that the central lesson that I'm going through what somebody else is putting me through, this is going to ensure that I condemn the other person all the time.
All the time.
Because what I heard it say that what I'm going through is that person's sin. That's what they've done to me. That's how bad they are, and they've done something to me.
Right.
Then I heard it say that if someone is hurting me all the time, it's impossible for me to forgive them in my ego's perception. And then I heard the Course says, it doesn't matter what the other person does, I'm going to be accusing them for whatever I'm going through. And that my finger is going to be like deadly and unwavering.
Yes.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
Yes.
It's your fault. You did it to me. What I'm going through right now is your fault. Whatever I'm feeling, my unhappiness, you're causing it. You're causing it. It's your fault. You're causing it. And did I say you're causing it?
And then if I were different, you'd be happy.
And this finger is also pointing to me too. But that's kept still deeper in the mist below my face of innocence. Because the finger's down here. My face of innocence is up here. The finger is down
below.
Here. It's below.
Right.
It's below. So in these, then I heard it say that in all of these secret places within myself that I'm blaming everybody else for what's happening to me, then I won't ever see the mistake that's being made.
That's right.
Because the truth would show me that I'm not a victim of anybody. Then I heard that I can't be blamed for what I'm going through, and I can't change what I'm going through because it's all being caused by you. Okay?
Yes.
And so you become the symbol of my own mistakes and projections and errors. And your brother who but silent to you, who but silently and yet with ceaseless urgency. So with ceaseless urgency, I'm always condemning you for the thing that I hate about me and what's wrong with me.
Yes. And
that's it.
And that, my friends, is the special relationship. It's that self-concept that is in charge of the special relationship.
And it's also, in order for me to be the victim of something that I'm myself not creating, I need someone to blame for that.
That's exactly
And so when I'm in my fear and my ego and using the world's concept of who I am, then I need someone to project my errors out on. And who's better than that than your special friends, partners, lovers, anybody that's special to you, family. They become the projection screen for my ego, for my self-concept, for the lack of love that I have about myself.
Right. So in order to keep that self-concept going that the world really wants you to have and is trying to teach you, you've got to be in a special relationship. You've got to have somebody there who is willing to be the projection screen and take the blame and take the projection and call it love. You've got to have somebody who's willing to do that and play and to deceive themselves with you like that.
Exactly.
Or else you couldn't keep that self-concept going.
I was just telling Anna earlier that if we were to realize when we're upset, everything that we're saying about the other person is a projection of our own attitude in terms of what we ourselves are doing through our ego. I know we've heard this a million times. What I see in them is in myself, but I'm saying something slightly different. I'm saying that when you are defining someone else's actions and what they're doing and how they're doing and how they're hurting you and what they're doing wrong to you, that is literally the thing you are doing to them. That's literally the thing within yourself that needs to be corrected in your own concept of yourself. Right. So you actually could get to the root of undoing your ego if just for a minute you could go, wait a minute, I just went off, I just blamed somebody else for everything else that I'm going through. What specifically did I say that they were doing to me?
Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing.
That's exactly what I'm doing to them and myself.
Precise mirror reflection.
Precise mirror reflection.
And so at any moment, by doing what you just said, if you wanted to get out of self-deception and to stop deceiving yourself for a few minutes, you could do that by exactly that. Go, and they did that, and they did this, and if they only do this, and I can't believe they did that, and they always do this, and if they would do that differently, then literally if you would take those very words, take the transcript, and
record
go,
it.
And go, okay, this is precisely exactly what my own ego is doing
to them.
Others.
That's right, to others or to them. You are so inconsiderate, you don't take me into consideration. I'm so inconsiderate, I don't take them into consideration.
You never take anybody's needs besides your own into consideration.
Oh, I never take anybody's needs except my own in consideration. Why? Because I just said you don't take anybody's needs except your own in consideration. Then you would find out exactly what your self-concept is that the world is going to mirror back to you. Because remember,
That's right.
The world is going to meet your self-concept on equal terms.
That's right.
Wow. So in that case, you could use then in that case, you turn a special relationship into a holy relationship, because if you really were to use that person to make you aware of your own ego and your own self-concept and what needs to be re-perceived, instead of attacking them,
Right.
then you would undo your own limited ideas that block you, and it would be a blessing to be in a relationship
Absolutely.
with.
When you get out of self-deception and see what you were doing that you thought someone was doing else to you, you pop out of self-deception, which means your ego's undone.
That's right.
You know, your ego's undone, meaning it's not ruling your mind and your life. Now, we have to
stop
sign
here.
off.
Yeah, we're going to sign off here. Because really with the Course in Miracles, I'm telling you, contained within any and every paragraph that you read in the Course, it's all there giving you the solutions to whatever you think you're going through. If you just kept in mind what we have already said from the Course that we want to remember, it would change your relationships to a much more peaceful relationship. So I'm Earl Purdy, and I have lots of videos on YouTube. Just Google my name, Earl Purdy, Purdy, and you'll see many of my Course in Miracles classes and workbook lessons. I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions, where I take the Course in Miracles principles as well as my knowledge of astrology and numerology used as another means to receive information from the Holy Spirit. Not saying I think planets control your reality. And we can get to the bottom of whatever the illusion or false ideas that you're giving yourself that's keeping you from having peace. So go to my website. It explains it in detail. Or earlpurdy.com.
All right. And I am Anna Kujawa, and I do Course in Miracles classes at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center every Monday night. And all of my Course in Miracles classes are on YouTube. You can find my YouTube channel. Just put my name in, Anna Kujawa, Kujawa. You can find all my classes there, as well as my course readings, where I just read the Course, and also my Course in Miracles meditations that I'm also been posting. And I'm also available for one-on-one healing sessions where we take the ideas of the Course and we apply them to an area of life where there's a lot of conflict.
Exactly.
So that you can experience a miracle that you are entitled to. So you just go to my website, annakujawa.com, and you can schedule one today.
And go to my website, Earl Purdy, Purdy.com, to watch my classes and also to set up an opportunity for a one-on-one. So, mighty companions, let peace extend from our mind to yours. All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. High-tech operation.